So what I'm talking is probably at times in public life, in professional life, in personal life, all of us go through these situations at multiple times. It's never the end. And every time we think we are wiser and the new situation comes up. So questions. How does anybody find a way? Any thoughts? Go ahead, Viswa.
I think this is a general problem. I think that critical thinking solves. Usually, people say that they have good critical thinking when they are able to do just exactly this. But I think, in my personal opinion, what I've seen to work is um, like every problem or context. For example, let's say buying a car, right?
In case you're speaking.
Um, Everything has a certain set of evaluation criteria or parameters that are that become evident when you talk to different people. For example, buying a car, right? Like, so you have your um, like, would you buy it in cash? Would you buy it through EMI? Would you take a loan? What does the market look like? Which brand? So all of these questions, they have a certain evaluation criteria. For example, if you're like, let's say the purchase method, right? So what kind of interest rates are you getting?
Yeah.
Um, and like there are hacks. So there are like these, I think, 10, 30, 20 rule or something. So the more you sort of research about it, the more you get these evaluation parameters. And again, based on your context, you try to figure out which is the one that best works for you. So I think
Sure.
that's
So this is good. We should talk to more people. Sometimes experts help. Any other? First of all, does everybody go through this situation, or it's only me who has gone through? Yes, no, nothing happened.
yes, Manoj. This one from my side.
Okay. So we go through in different stages of life, discovering a career, discovering a course to take, discovering a life partner, discovering a new job, discovering a place to go, getting an agreement in the family, etc. So these are all different situations at different times, including where to invest. Situations happen like this: which car to buy, and sometimes your head is in the muddle. So I've been in the muddle for many a times, and then I saw there is a pattern. There is a pattern to how situation resolves, and that's my formula. And I hope it be useful for some people or all the people. First is, as Biswa says, expand your data set. Um, Sound not clear? Okay. So first is expand your data set. Uh, Many times we think that we know enough. Uh, why is the sound issue, giving an issue? So many times we think that the data we have is enough, but what happens is that it's never enough. We have been in a sort of closed cocoon for a long time, and tend to get bias from the available info, which is or you can say availability bias creeps in. I think what we also don't do is look at the adjacent area. If we are looking for career, then we are going through the website which are about career, education, etc., etc. And we don't look at the adjacent area, early professional, for example. And we tend to have a lot of blind spots sometimes, and that's where the reading more, getting to meet people who are in adjacent areas or contradictory areas always helps. And um, and there is a point at which you should stop meeting people, and I'll tell you. So first and foremost thing is that we have to expand our data set. Whenever there is a model, we have to expand our data set. That's principle number one. But while doing it, very important how you do this. Expanding, everyone does a bit of research, but very important thing is the point number two. Suspend your judgment for the time being. This is what people don't end up doing. We have to, in such a model, we have to add information, but stay away from making judgments that time, for some time at least. You have to stay with the confusion which is persisting and rely on the power that our mind will make sense of things. When you listen to other people, don't judge, don't agree, don't judge. You make notes the way we make notes in research, and that's where probably whatever we do at Turian Labs is a life skill. It's not just a profession. Build your tiny hypothesis, sit with it for some time, for longer time, and let it simmer. Okay, so don't be in a rush uh, to kill it the same day. Some things will change because mind has internal wiring set to make sense very quickly. Third important thing is that our minds are hardwired or gets wired to listen to only loud and repetitive signals. What has been occurring multiple times, what is a voice louder which is on the Instagram reel, or with the friends around or the peers around, we just hear that part louder. We tend to ignore the micro shifts which have taken place just now, few days back, or has been happening around, and we tend to ignore it as just another happening and look at the louder signals. While the important thing is to just notice that what all is shifted subtly without our knowledge. And once you suspend your judgment, then these signals start becoming clear that, oh, this is very interesting happening. This tiny thing happened maybe a few months back also, and a very interesting thing happening. And the beautiful thing about the signals is that they repeat, and they repeat in varying intensity. Something will happen again, and I'll tell you stories from uh, when this happens. At least it happened with me last time. Then you build your hypothesis. A simple thing, for example, let's say I was running um, a branding company or a communication company. We had started in 2001, Eternia, and it was we were making websites for .com boom one times. One proposal we gave to a client, okay, and the proposal was for website design. Proposal client said, got back to us that your proposal is good, but we will give the website design to some other company. But the way you have articulated the problem is very interesting. I think you can do some other job for us. I said, what is the other job? Can you do brand strategy for us? I didn't know S of strategy till that time. So first of all, entrepreneurial genes inside said yes to that, and we did that assignment, and we learned what is brand character and brand architecture and etc. Reading this, uh, we used to work together. Sonali and I used to read off the internet and sit with the client and try to analyze his brand situation. The point here is not that we did that great job that time. Point here is that this was a signal. While we are doing other website design assignments, while my rest of the other company is doing product design assignments, There was a tiny signal. One client identified that you are good at probably articulating the problem. This signal we took to heart and said, probably there is a place for us in the strategy domain. 3 months passed, 4 months passed, nothing happened. One old client was mentioning some similar other problem. We said, we'll do another assignment like this for you. And we did second assignment. And by, we started moving into strategy. People started paying for the strategy and research that time. So these tiny signals are important when they happen. We build a hypothesis. Now, hypothesis that, yeah, probably we are good. 2 times it has happened means we are good. It's a hypothesis. And hypothesis may go wrong also. Okay. So build hypothesis from whatever you have assembled so far. I did the same thing while trying to shift my career from engineering to design. While I remember sitting with the idea of typical out of IIT, the typical route that time was go to US and do MS, PhD, get a job. That's a regular route. Or appear for CAT, do the MBA way. At least in the college way, I was from IIT Bombay. This was a trend. IIT Kanpur has had IAS as a trend, etc. UPSC services. So now to swerve from there and go into, there was a tiny hypothesis that I am good at art. Maybe I should go towards design as well. This was a hypothesis. Now, how do you validate that? And you won't believe that for 6 months, I used to get a headache in my head that should I go this way, that way? Everyone is doing this. Should I do this or not? And I didn't know what is a career in design looks like. And there was no in-depth information website portal those days to get a 1-point guidance ever. Now, how do you get a guidance? So that's where the next things come in. And I'll skip this part and come back to it. Validate. If you have a hypothesis, and go and validate. Validate is that you go and meet again the people in the context. Okay, in the context is very important. People or the information in the context. If I'm looking at a career in design, then I should go and meet designers, practicing designers. Those days I went and met people who had similar background like I am thinking. So I met a guy who was from IIT Bombay and had done a job as an engineer and had successfully transitioned into design career. So what he said, what I was thinking, I just try to put two and two together and build my own hypothesis. So hypothesis gets strengthened once you validate. But then the sense of responsibility comes in also picture. What happens if I fail? Okay. My sister is about to get married. I'm getting into some strange career. I don't know whether I'll get money on this or not. All this. So we have to run through that sense of responsibility filters check that time. And at this point, when you run such filters, again, you go through the loop of trying to sometimes because you've run through your mind multiple times, something happens and some coincidence precipitates the entire situation. So here I am sitting with me idea of, okay, I should be transitioning into a design career. But what happens if there's no money? But what happens, sister is about to get married, etc., kind of things. But I am also good at this. But my teammates, my other classmates have joined the other career, which are lucrative. So there was one guy who was by chance I took a lift with a senior manager of my company. That time I was working for 2 years in Delhi. And he said, how is it? The usual question, how is it? I said, yeah, all well. Just that I'm thinking about few things, what to do. Say, what are you thinking about? I said, if I join design career, will there be money enough or not? So he started laughing. What are you talking about? I mean, is that even a question? He said, "Oh, pan wala samne dukaan pe hamara factory ke samne. The guy earns more money than I do. It doesn't mean that I have to become a pan wala." in my career. I said, sounds good. So I had more questions. I said, what if after 2 years I discover that this line is not for me? The guy said, okay, you can do whatever you want to do. You want to do MBA after 2 years, you do MBA after 2 years. What is 2 years in life? Now, this is a small thing, but it sounds all rational right now. But that time when the mind is loaded with a lot of questions, suddenly it precipitated everything in 1 second. Yeah, I never thought like that. A typical middle class mind was always thinking that the life is only one-way journey. There's no repeat course. So it sounded well, yeah, maybe I can do MBA later on. And the mind was absolutely clear, and I went through the way I went through. So this validation sometimes is expanding the data set, and then validating is important. And because you have expanded the data set and you suspended your judgment for some time, that gives you a superpower. That at the validation time, those tiny inputs starts making a lot of sense to you. That's triangulation. And how do you understand that this is it? As I said, some tiny insight can precipitate it all. Some signals which deeply resonate with you at the time of validation, and you feel lighter after the decision you've taken. So this is journey, and finally we have to remember this, that slightly philosophical, but this is your mind and body are doing the journey, not you. You are separate from it. You are just watching the drama unfold. I'm talking as a person wiser right now. That time I had no idea of what I'm saying of this. So this is it.